Hey everyone, Casual Fight Fan here. I'm just going to do a small review on the Manuel Navarrete fight, the Isaac Dogboe fight that happened this weekend. I just got around to watching it, and it was a very disappointing fight, to be fair. I feel it went far too long, and I really felt bad for Dogboe. And I think his career could realistically be over for him. You know, such a young lad, and it's quite sad to see that his career could be over so soon, but he took such a hellacious beating in that fight. And the fight went the way it did, I feel, because his father, the trainer, didn't really improve anything Dogboe could do. And the things he was telling him to do are not realistically things he should be doing. He said move to left, move to side. Yeah, but it's easy to say that. But you should know what he's able to do in the gym. You should know if he's able to do that. You know, Dogboe did have moments in the fight, but from round 1 to 12 to where it ended, he got hellaciously beaten. His style was just too easy for Navarrete to suss out and to punish him. You know, from first round we saw Dogboe's flaws. You know, he hunches over, his head's over his lead leg, and the uppercut landed constantly landed on him. The left uppercut, the left uppercut that Navarrete was throwing, and sometimes he was throwing the left hook to the body, and then throwing the left uppercut to the head. So he was double up on that left hand. Something Dogboe should have been doing. As a smaller man, he should have been looking for that double left hook, but he himself was far too obvious in his attacks, because what he likes to do is close the distance and go to the body with the left then the right, which is very basic and is pretty easy to suss out. You know, doubling up is a lot harder for an opponent to figure out, I'm telling you, because when you just go left-right, everybody goes left-right, but double left hook is a bit harder to suss out because you're having to move your hand, you're having to go for one or the other, unless you just duck. And Navarrete isn't someone who has a really good defense, so he should have really been doubling up on that left hook. Dogboe should have. Another issue for Dogboe was he has no head movement. Absolutely none. He's like a bull. The best way to describe Dogboe is he's like a bull. He's in and out. And against a taller man, that's terrible. You know, you can't be in and out against a taller man. You know, you've got to make an ugly fight. When you're fighting someone who's much taller than you, you've got to make an ugly fight. So when you get on the inside, don't step out. Hold him if you have to. Hit him, push him. You know, make the referee have to break it up. Don't step out, because as soon as you step out, you're in the way of his punches. And that's what Dogboe did continuously. He'd come inside, do some good work, step out and get hit again. You know, Dogboe had to stay on the inside, and he had to work on the inside. But he never did that. He never tested Navarrete on the inside. For some reason, he was obsessed with a mid-range fight or on the outside, and he just got stuck in no man's land. That's the best way to put it. You know, much like the German soldiers, much like the British soldiers got mowed down by the Germans in World War One. In no man's land. That's exactly what was happening to Dogboe. He was getting mowed down by a bigger, stronger man. And it's disappointing to see, you know, a young fighter like that take such punishment and not show any real adjustments or improvements. At the top level of boxing, you have to be able to adjust. You have to be able to make improvements. And Isaac Dogboe couldn't do that. He couldn't do what was necessary for him to win the fight. He had to use angles, but it was clear to see he didn't really know how to. There was times in the fight where he did try to step around to the side or step around to the left, but it was far too few. You know, another guy we thought that was quite tall was Jesse Magdaleno, but Magdaleno likes to back up in a straight line. So against Magdaleno, who was losing to early on, he eventually caught up to Magdaleno as he started to tire from the pressure, but Magdaleno's not a big puncher, and he likes to back straight up to the ropes. Navarrete, on the other hand, was doing the right thing, circling around the ring, moving around the ring, and then at times, pressuring Dogboe. And that's ultimately what undid Dogboe. It was Navarrete's intelligence. And Navarrete, to me, he's a good fighter, but he has some huge flaws, especially defensively. When he's moving back, he squares up. He's clear to hit. His chin's up in the air. He's squared up. You know, he moves straight back. If you can come forward with a left hook, duck down low, almost Tyson-like. I know it's not easy to be like Tyson, but Tyson-like, you have to be exact like. But, you know, slipping the longer shots he has and stepping in and coming with a left hook or coming with overhand right, you would hit him. But obviously, Dogboe wasn't when he was in sparring, he was in training, wasn't practicing, you know, countering. He wasn't practicing catch and shoot either. Catch and shoot is another amazing thing to do against a taller man. Feel his punch on your hand and instantly shoot your shot. But he didn't have those. He was blocking but not hitting, I get that. And his father did tell him, hit when you block. But at the same time, you have to be working on those things in the gym with your fighter. You know what your fighter can do and what your fighter can't do. You know, and he took far too much punishment. That fight should have really been stopped in the 6th round. Because by that time, you're already like, this is getting a bit too much. You know, he got knocked down in the 6th by a left hook. And, you know, when you're the smaller man and your opponent's landing left hooks on you, that's when you know you're in trouble. Because, you know, as a smaller man, you should be able to really roll under those hooks and then come up with your own hook. But that was even land on him, you know. The left hand from Navarrete was beautiful. The uppercuts, the hooks, the body shots. He was fighting better on the inside of that mid-range than Dogboe, which is an absolute atrocity. You know, at 5'2", you should be a much better inside fighter than that. And now he's talking about going up to 126 pounds, where the fighters are just as big and just as strong as Manuel Navarrete. That's a recipe for disaster. Dogboe needs to get a new trainer if he has any hope of continuing, you know. And there was a time when Dogboe did look unstoppable against Hideori Otoki, against Cesar Juarez, against Jesse Magdalena. He looked good in those fights, but those guys had a style to him where it was stand in front of him and let him unload and use his combinations. Against Navarrete, he wasn't allowed to plant his feet and let his hands go. He had to move and hit, and that's really dumbfounded him, you know. You're not just going to stand in front of me and let me hit you. I'm going to have to try and work a little bit, show a little bit more, you know, feint. You know, as a smaller man, you know, Evander Holyfield done this really well against Nikolai Volkov. He circled around the ring, and what that does, it doesn't allow the taller man to plant his feet, so you can't generate a lot of power. And it also helps you avoid the long jab and the long right, because when you're circling, it's a lot easier to avoid the straight shots of a taller man. I can tell you myself, it's a lot easier. But Dogboe didn't do that. He was coming straight at him. And if you come straight at a taller man, his punches, you're right in the range of his punches. You know, and you know, Dogboe didn't smother Navarrete. He normally let Navarrete fight at his room. And for a tall guy, Navarrete has very good short shots, very good short left hook to the body, very good short left hook to the head. You know, so he's very, you know, he's a good inside fighter. That's the one thing I can say about Navarrete. He's very versatile on that front. But again, I can't help but think that Dogboe could have done better. But the only way he could have done better is if his father was training in the correct way on how to fight a bigger man, and how to fight a bigger puncher. Because by the looks of things, Navarrete is a bigger puncher than Dogboe, because the punches he was landing was hellacious. But Dogboe, as the heart of a warrior, man, he really stayed in there. He stayed in there and took a woeful beating. You know, I don't understand how he took it. I was watching it. I was kind of disgusted how it had gone so long. You know, a lot of people say, oh, well, the boxing never quit. But listen, there comes a point where you're going to look and you're going to say, this is enough is enough. And that was one of those points. You know, I don't like to bring religion into things, but they say it's a prophecy and all these other things. Listen, man, this is a fight. I don't think God favors anyone in a fight. You know, you have to dig your own hole and dig your own way out. And Dogboe was left in no man's land, man. He just didn't have the skills. He didn't circle, didn't utilize his jab to the body, or didn't double jab his way on the inside, didn't stay on the inside, didn't make it a rough mauling fight, didn't attack the body with enough variety. That's the word I'm looking for, variety, because it's just very simple, left, right. You've got to attack the guy's body with a little bit more variety. You've got to make it hide it a little more, because he's probably bracing those body shots. He probably knows when Dogboe's coming and he's going to go to the body, so he's probably holding his breath, you know, breathing out, just not letting him catch him off guard. Because Navarrete was quite fit. He threw a lot of punches, a lot of power. I think he threw over 500. And he didn't really look that tired, to be fair. So that was another issue. So, you know, I don't know what to say, man. I really don't. I just remember the fight clearly in my head. I just remember it being just a beating. Dogboe had nothing. You know, at times he landed punches here and there because Navarrete's upright and he moves straight back. So you're always going to hit him. You're always going to be able to clip him. You know, but Dogboe's going to 126 now, where the champions there are what, Oscar Valdez? Is he really going to get out of the way of Oscar Valdez's lethal left hooks? I don't think so. You know, then we've got Josh Warrington. He's like a tornado in the ring. Is he really going to get out of the way of him? And who was at 126? I'm trying to think now. The WBC, Gary Russell Jr. Is he going to get out of the way of those shots? Now I'm looking for the IBF. No, IBF is Carl Frampton. The WBO is Oscar Valdez. WBC is Gary Russell Jr. Who's the IBF champion at 126? I can't remember who the 126 champion at 126 is. It avoids me at the moment, but you know, you get my drift. They're big guys there, strong guys, and he's not gonna have much success with the champions there. So I would look to stay in at 122, and maybe, you know, there's no one I really see him beating at 122 because Ray Vargas is quite a long range guy as well, but he's a little easier to hit. But I don't think he has the attributes to hit a Ray Vargas. Maybe Daniel Roman will be a fight for him that he can maybe do, because Roman's not too big and Roman likes to fight on the inside. That's a possible way you can do something against Roman. But again, Roman's a fucking warrior. Roman's got a lot of skill and a lot of talent. He's unified down there now. So I'm not too sure. Really, it really just depends. But I don't know. I like to see where it goes, and I wish him all the best, guys at Dogboe. But you know, he didn't have the skills to fight a taller man. He's only got his father to blame for that. But congratulations, Emmanuel Navarrete. I look forward to seeing him in maybe with a Jesse Magdalena or maybe in a unification fight, because he seems a really good fighter. He has his flaws, but he seems like he's got a lot of talent there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening. This is Casual Boxing Fan.